Hi everyone, my name is Michael Ghazi of MGF Nutrition and Training, and today I will be presenting a small presentation on sleep, the way you can improve your sleep, the way you can improve your sleep cycle and its impact on your mental health for the Festival of Wellness, a great course put together by Lukey, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. I will first and foremost say that this video, it is a little bit in depth, it can be a little bit it might throw you off a little bit. So what I do encourage is as many questions as possible via direct message. I'll be responding to each and every one of you with as much depth as possible to see if I can help you, to see if I can clarify things and see if we can improve your overall outcomes. So first and foremost, I want to touch on sleep and mental health, which is the theme of the Festival of Wellness. So you probably won't be surprised by the impact that a impaired or lack of sleep is going to have on your mental health, and this will be through various stress hormones, your ability to deal with stress, neurotransmitter imbalances and depletion, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into too much depth on that, but the best way to the first step you should take in trying to manage your mental health is through optimizing your sleep. And once you can nail this, then you could you should always do things in a coexisting fashion, but it would definitely be the first step I would encourage you to take. And many great psychologists and psychiatrists, including for one Jordan Peterson, have harped on this and claimed that the first step they take with individuals or new patients is ensuring that their sleep cycle's in place. He actually goes on to say that the first thing that he would do is to make sure the individual has established a decent sleep-wake cycle. So having the same time that they wake up and the same time they go to bed each and every night. And in my practice, or I'm not going to say practice, but with the clients who I have worked with, when I'm looking to get the most out of their sleep, this is the very first thing I would do. If you can't nail this, there's not too much of a point in moving further forward. Unless the individual can't because of some kind of shift-based work, employment commitments, personal life commitments, or just personal hurdles in general where it can't happen. So first and foremost, number one, establish your sleep-wake cycle. Okay. Number two, then we would look at engineering the environment of the individual. So when I say we're looking at engineering the environment of the individual, this would include things such as what time do they stop working of the night, whether that be formal work or work at home on the computer. What time do they stop playing video games? What time do they stop watching TV? What does their bedroom look like? Do they have a TV in their bedroom? Do they have the heater on? Do they have a fan in their bedroom? Is there light in their bedroom? One I will add to this as well is I would look at their breathing capacity. If an individual is struggling to breathe, whether that be through nasal congestion, allergies, whether that be through them potentially being a smoker, etc., there is going to be a very good chance that the sleep depth, the sleep quality is not going to be there. And one thing for me, I'm a mouth breather. So as a result, that can happen. And for example, I'll sleep at my partner's house. I have allergies. I'm allergic to a cat. I'll always wake up in the morning far less refreshed. And that is because of an impairment in my breathing. So what I do is I will often add a nasal strip. Okay, so this is sort of where we play in what we can do here. So we could look at removing TVs from bedrooms, we could look at blue light blockers, we could look at a cutoff time for using social media, for using computers, etc. And that would definitely be the second step for me. Okay, then we would look at the third step. So the third step for me would be looking at specific nutrition. So this would be steps 1 and 2 would be under the assumption that the individual's nutrition is relatively good to begin with. When I say good, I mean well balanced. But step 3 is looking at more specific nutrition. I'd be looking at timing carbohydrates. I'd be looking at assessing the individual response to carbohydrates. Some people, when they have heavy carbohydrates, they do become relatively lethargic or tired. This is not necessarily a good thing, but it can be used as a blanket fix. You could load carbohydrates of the evening and as a result, potentially improve one's sleep or at least reduce sleep latency. You could also look at getting very specific with nutrition to induce that relaxed state. So you could look further into the fundamentals of GABA production, the fundamentals of serotonin and melatonin production. More specifically, I'm going to talk about the latter because you can definitely address that a little more with nutrition. So the most important components of, well, foods when it comes to ensuring a neurotransmitter production are going to be foods rich in amino acids. So a lot of the time it's going to be meat, but proteins, because obviously we have to respect that there are some individuals who aren't going to eat meat. And this is the most important amino acids are going to be tryptophan and tyrosine. Tryptophan more specifically, because tryptophan is eventually converted into melatonin, which regulates your sleep cycle. So you want to be looking at ensuring that the individual's diet is rich in tryptophan. There are going to be vegan-based options for this. There are also going to be meat-based options. My favorite is turkey, but you could look at oats. You could look at pumpkin seeds, for example. I would definitely encourage you to get onto an application like Chronometer, entering your diet and making sure that these amino acids are in place and abundant. Once you've done this, you want to look at including these foods, but you also need to look at having the cofactors in place. So the nutrients which enable this conversion. So these will include things like iron. Iron, I'll be looking at heme and non-heme, so animal and non-animal sources. I'll be looking at things like you need zinc. You need to have your vitamin C in there. You need to have your vitamin B5. You need to have your vitamin B6. You need to have all your B group vitamins to ensure that this conversion process can take place and you can eventually convert this tryptophan into serotonin and therefore melatonin, both playing back to your mental health. I'm sure you've heard of serotonin before. Obviously, it's not the only thing in relation to your mental health, but it's one of the very important things. And then eventually melatonin, which regulates that sleep cycle. So I'll be looking at having these tryptophan-rich sources through the day rather than of the evening, although you can do it of the evening. And then of the night, I'll be looking at backloading some kind of carbohydrates. So I love to do oats. I love to do oats with bananas, pomegranates, let's say via strawberries. That's where you're getting your vitamin C and your B groups, by the way. I love to, and then doing that before bed often drives down the individual and gets them ready for sleep. Okay, if we've ticked these 3 boxes and we're still seeing some problems or places where we could see some improvement, then I would consider supplementation. And there is a number of supplements which I do like. I'm not going to recommend anything, but I'm going to encourage you to do some research and see if you think they could be beneficial to you. Great one for those who can't establish a sleep-wake cycle, ashwagandha. Okay, it's a great adaptogen. It's one I've used. One which isn't necessarily beneficial for me because of my lifestyle. I do have that consistent sleep-wake cycle, but one which I've seen great benefit in a number of individuals who don't. And I've seen just improved individual sleep response, but one that you need to consider whether it stimulates or relaxes you. You could look at L-theanine, you could look at valerian root if you needed help getting to sleep. These would be taken just before bed. I would pair this with the backloaded carbohydrates. I'd pair this with a well-nourished diet. There are an array of other supplements, but one I would not consider, which I would not consider or look into that you may have seen, is GABA, as in the supplement, as it will not be capable of crossing the blood-brain barrier. There are an array of other supplements which I could encourage, but I'd rather you message me directly about that, and I can hopefully get you onto the right path so you can do some research. Once you've ticked all these boxes, you should ultimately see some improvements in your sleep. But what I will point out, it is may be difficult for you to observe this. So what I do encourage is you track your sleep via an application such as Sleep Cycle. Therefore, you can track your sleep duration, you can track your sleep quality. And once you've done this, once you've started doing this, you can see which implementations are working for you, which aren't. And as a result, you can really get something together which really suits you. So, like I said at the start of this video, I really do encourage questions, and I understand that a lot of this can be quite vague and a lot more depth is really necessary. So message me directly. I'll get back to each and every one of you. I'll reply in as much depth as I can. I'll put you in the right direction, so hopefully you can get the help that you need, and you can ultimately have a deep and nourishing sleep and improve your lifestyles, improve your health, improve your results in the gym even, because obviously we know sleep is cornerstone. I don't need to say that, I don't think. And yes, so hopefully this helped and hopefully you took something from this. Have a great night, everyone, and yeah, remember, I'm always just a message away.